Alright, BB40 with another doors video. This time I'm going to show you the back rooms. I finally managed to get all the way to the end. And that's what I'm going to show in this video. And what I want to do is give tips. Now this is room 60. And behind these lockers here in room 60, typically, it's not always room 60, but typically it is. You have to go downstairs and door 61, go down the double dungeons I call them, and pull a lever to open that gate that I just walked through. Now these locks, there's no key anywhere to unlock these locks. I couldn't find any key, never have. I even tried the skeleton key. You see my number 4 skeleton key? It won't work on those locks. You have to have lock picks. So you got to save up 2 lock picks when you get here, and then use the skeleton key to open up the door. And then it says you hold E to get in there. And you get credits for whatever coins you collected so far in the game. It's basically like entering another game. There's 1,000 rooms. It took me almost 5 hours, I think, to get through this. Because I took my time and I collected coins all along the way. Now, I recommend getting this flashlight. Even though it's only 10 coins. That's why it's worth just getting. Just have as a backup. I got a regular flashlight, and when you get a regular flashlight, there's batteries all over the place. So my recommendation, number 1 tip, is learn the rooms. Learn all these different rooms. I'm going to show you all the different ones. Because certain ones have lockers, certain ones don't. And certain ones have a certain number of lockers. So these 4 rooms here, no lockers in these rooms. There's one, the top left looks like it has a little cubicle in it. Top right looks like an L-shaped little corner table. Bottom left looks like a little hallway with one little table. And the bottom right, if you see 3 tables in the middle of the room like that, there's no lockers in that room. So try to remember these rooms so you don't get stuck in one. Now these rooms here have just 1 locker. The top left, there's 2 walls in the middle of the room and the lockers right between them. Bottom right's a kitchen, and that white locker on the left you can hide in there. So these 2 have just 1 locker. When you see these pillars, there's usually 2 lockers in this room, in any of the corners. Usually this left corner here and the back right corner, far right. Now this room, well, I'll show you that one later, but this one has 3 lockers. It's the only room with 3 lockers that all combine together. Sometimes they're on the right and sometimes they're on the left. Now this room here, these rooms here have 4 lockers. Top left has a locker at each corner. The one top right is like a grating and a catwalk. There's 2 down below the catwalk, and there's 1 up top, 2 up top there in each corner. And the bottom one there is like a conference room. There's a locker in each corner of that conference room. And this is the biggest collection of lockers. There's 5 good lockers. The dark ones, the light ones are all broken. You can't get in those. You see there's 3 on the left, 2 on the right. So I usually when I go into that room, I usually go on the left side. So I'm going to show you the entities. A60 is this guy, the red one. Then A90, he's the tough one. He shows up with this little face first and then the red. And watch, he's going to hit me again. Face, then the red. If you're moving when that red hits, he'll kill you. So now I'm going to show you A120. And this guy kind of takes his time coming by. And he may come back and visit you a couple times. So you have to stay in this locker until he disappears completely. You don't hear him at all. So you got to turn your volume up. So you got to recommend, you got to turn your volume up in this game because you want to be able to hear A60 and A120. You want to be hear them when they come. A60 comes from behind you. And he's the first guy we're going to run into here. I'm getting close to A60. Or room A60. Door A60. Whatever. That's when he starts showing up, typically. And you got to start listening. You got to turn your volume up to hear him. And he always comes from behind you. A60 comes from the back, like Rush. He has a different sound like Rush, but he acts just like Rush. You won't see any lights flicker. There won't be other indications that he's coming. He comes quicker in a shorter time frame than Rush would. So here, you see in the next room, he's going to show up. I'm just going to hide in the locker and let him go past me. I can hear him coming in the distance, and here he comes. That's pretty much the same every time. He comes from behind you. A120 always comes from in front of you. That's why it's important to remember where the lockers are and what room you're in. Learn these different rooms. Because most of the time you open up a door and you don't know what's in the next room. If there's a locker or not, you got to go back. You got to remember if there's a locker in the room that you just came through when A120 starts coming from in front of you. No, I just flashed up there. What's important is you have to, what I do is I keep my hand off of my mouse because of A90. And I'm coming up on A90 here. And the reason for that is because any movement at all that A90 detects, this guy here, he'll kill you. So as soon as you see this flash up, I mean, it only gives you like a fraction of a second. You hear a sound, you see his face, and you got to stop everything. Take your hand off the keyboard, keep your hand off the mouse. And if you do that, you'll be fine. Because if you're moving when that red flag shows up, like the stop sign, he'll kill you. He'll hit you for like 90% on the first hit, and the second time you're dead. And these are the only 3 entities in here that cause damage and kill you. Now what I'm doing, like I said, is I take my hand off the mouse. So all I'm doing is using my keypad controls, and I'm just moving sideways and forward and back if I want to. Just kind of sliding around, not using my mouse. Unless I need to turn, I'll just tap my mouse on the side. Make myself turn to the left or turn to the right. Just a tap to the left or a tap to the right. And that way I don't have contact on my mouse. And that eliminates half the chance of 890 killing you if you're not touching your mouse. He won't sense that movement from your mouse. All you got to do is your keyboard. When you get hit by 890, when he shows up, it's a very quick, you hear a sound, you hear a pop sound, and you see that black face. Just immediately, just train yourself to take your fingers right off the keyboard when you see that. And you should already have your hands off the mouse. So my movements, if I ever use the mouse, are just light taps. Like I said, a little tap to the left, or tap to the right. Just quick little short movements. So I don't spend a lot of time in contact with the mouse. And that greatly reduces the chances. And it's the reason why I was able to make it through this all the way to door 1000. Is by simply not touching my mouse unless I really had to. And I did a lot because I was hunting down, see right here? I didn't tilt down. I didn't use my mouse to look down at those coins. I just tapped myself over to the left. I picked up the coins, and then A90 tried to get me. And because I wasn't looking down, I didn't move my mouse to point downward, he didn't kill me because I wasn't moving. I just kind of slid to the side and stopped, picked up the coins, and he showed up, and he didn't hit me because I wasn't moving. I wasn't touching my mouse, and I wasn't moving my keyboard at all. It just stopped. And that's the key to getting past A90. So he just hit me again. And that's another thing I recommend. Every time I go to a door, I stop when the door opens, and I wait. And that's the case right there, where I waited just long enough where he showed up, and I was just motionless, so he didn't hit me at all because I didn't move. I didn't move at all. So I open the door and I step in and I stop. Or I open the door and stop, and then I step in and I stop, and I look around. Just you know, you see, I'm just sliding back and forth, side to side. I'm not turning at all with my mouse. Just movement from my keys, you know, ASWD keys. Now we're getting there 120. So now you got to start listening for him. And he always comes from the front. He always attacks from the front. So you got to know, like I said, learn the rooms. What's in the room, where the lockers are. Now this is a conference room. There's a locker in each corner of this conference room. So there's 4 lockers in this room. And here's the grating. There's a locker in each corner. So I'm hiding here because I think something's coming. Yep, it was A60 was coming. So I just ran to that corner locker. And there's 2 lockers down below the grating downstairs. There's like a lower level in this area where you have this catwalk. And sometimes you can collect a lot of coins down there or find batteries. But I generally didn't go down there unless I would look down with my flashlight, and if I saw some, you know, a pile of coins, I might go down and grab them. Or a battery that I needed, I'd go down and grab the battery. So this is a room with no lockers. It's the L-shaped room. This one has 4 lockers, 1 in each corner. Because you can tell when you see those corner lockers up in front of you, you know there's one on each side behind you too. See, I stopped and waited, and there was A90. He would have got me if I was moving. Now, he just hit me, so I'm not worried about him hitting me again. So I'm moving around with my mouse a little bit more than I normally would, looking for coins, collecting coins. And I collected a ton of coins in this particular run. I mean, after 1,000 doors, I had like 37,000 coins. And this was funny. I saw this little shape on the grating, the locker door. It looked like a little smiley face. I just had to draw that on there because I don't know if anybody else had noticed that. I don't see that in all the lockers, just occasionally it'll show up in a locker. You just see it right there. It looks like a little smiley face. So I'm cutting a little bit out here and there, showing you different entities as they attack me. Here I think A120 is going to come after me again. I can hear him coming from in front of me, so I'm heading right to a locker. Since he comes from the front, it's dangerous to run forward into the room that you just opened up the door. It's better to go backwards. And pretty much every time A120 showed up, I was able to back up into a locker. It didn't ever come, and really none of the entities ever come in a room that has no lockers. So it's safe to just take your time, open a door, and just wait a little bit. Here's the conference room again. There's a locker in each corner in this conference room. I'm going to grab me a battery, open a door, and see what's up here. I can hear him coming again, so I'm going to head to this locker. The 120's, oh, it was A60 this time. So I tried this, it took me about a dozen tries, 10 or 12 tries to get through this all the way to door 1000. And pretty much every time I got killed along the way, it's because of A90. And if you follow my technique, I found out that it works great for me. And here's a case where A120 comes back. Well, sometimes he comes back. So you got to sit in that locker until you're absolutely sure you don't hear him anymore. And that's a case right there. I wasn't using my mouse. I had my hand off my mouse. A90 hit, and I was able to take my fingers off the keyboard quick enough that he didn't strike. It didn't cause me any damage. You only got a fraction of a second. You really got to train yourself. So when you see that black face show up really quick and hear that sound, you just lift your fingers off the keyboard. Just don't move anything. Don't touch anything. And you see I'm still kind of just using my keyboard to move. Just little taps on my mouse. Tap left, tap right, look around. Just to get my flashlight oriented. Oh, there he is again. I did a little tap just in time. I quit. Just a little tap to the left, and here comes A120 again. So I ran back to where I knew there was a locker on that grating. So A90 I found to be the most difficult because he hits you so quickly. And my technique of just keeping your hand off the mouse got me through the whole game. Just little taps, just to move to, if you have to look to the left or look to the right, just little taps. Don't just keep your hand on the mouse all the time. Only when you really need to. Just touch it when you need to. Now I'm looking around for coins. I did a little tap to the left, a little tap to the right, and then something's coming here. I thought something was coming. You can hear the sound in the background. It was a kind of a false alarm that time. I'm just making sure nothing's coming. Open the door. And heard something again this time, so it was A60 coming from behind me. Just making sure he's gone. Make sure the A90, a lot of times A90 will hit you right about the same time as A60 or A120. When you're running for a locker, he'll pop up and try to get you while you're running to the locker. Or even when you're going into a locker. So you can see I'm just doing, as far as turning left and right, just quick little taps on my mouse. And this strategy got me all the way to the end. And that was one case there, again, where I heard the little pop sound from A90. I just took my fingers off the keyboard and I was fine. And toward the end of the game, I guess when you get past like door 300, you start getting larger piles of coins. So they were adding up and adding up. And that time I just barely got into that locker in time before A90 struck. But still, I made it safely. And it's mainly because, like I said, keep your hand off the mouse. I got killed before in the same circumstance where I entered the locker the same time the A90 struck, but I still had my hand on my mouse and he killed me. So it's just the mouse I found is what caused most of my deaths, keeping my hand on my mouse. And once I started taking my hand off the mouse and just tapping it, I was able to survive the game and make it through. So now we're getting toward the end. I'm showing you a few more attacks here before I get to the very end. This is a A120 coming back after me. I think he's going to return this time. He's going to bounce back and come back at me again. Let's see. Yeah, there he is. So he went off, almost like he was going to go away, but then he turned around and came back for a second view, a second look in my locker. I think he's going to come after me again. It's funny, he sounds like a robot. Or he sounds like he's running down through a duct, a metal ductwork. He makes that clanking sound like he's running on metal. That's how you recognize. And here's where we're getting at the very end. And I don't understand why they put an exit right near the last door. They put an exit at 999. It's like, who's going to exit at 999 and not just go right to 1000? Does that make sense? So anyway, I managed to make it to 1000, got the badge. Now this little camera that's laying on the ground here is kind of a neat little gizmo. It's an X-ray and night vision. It'll show you in dark rooms. You can see everywhere around in a dark room if you turn it on. And also, if you're in a room where you're trying to find a key, like a hallway, it has all those side rooms, you can turn on that camera and it'll show you which room has the key in it. You can go get the key. It can even show you where all the books are in the library. But unfortunately, I mean, I don't know why they don't let you keep it. But if you can put it into the wormhole entity at the end, and you can let him hold on to it and pick it up at the beginning of the next game. But if you die in a game, you lose it and you don't ever get it back unless you want to run that 1000 doors again. But you think that was such a prize to get, you would think they would allow you to keep that, for the remainder. For as long as you keep playing the game, just automatically be there every time you start the game. You should be able to keep that camera. But anyway, that's the way it works. So I can't go back, That's the door I came in. So anyway, that's it. Made it back through all the way to the end of this game too. I just kept going all the way to the end, but I'm not going to drag you through the whole ending again. I've done some endings. If you need tips on getting through the dock rooms or getting past Rush, getting past Figure at the end. I did some other videos on that that'll give you some good tips if you want to check out my other videos. But here I wanted to get in there because I wanted to get the green plant and get the health regenerating plant. So I went looking forward until I could find another skeleton key, because I used it up to get into the back rooms, the Detour. So I was hoping, going through these different other rooms, opening up desks and drawers, and see if I could find myself another skeleton key that I can go back in there and get that plant. Lockpicks don't work on those skull locks. You have to have the skeleton key. And I think, fortunately, I was able to find a skeleton key in a treasure chest. There was one in a side closet. I opened up the treasure chest, and there was a skeleton key in there. Now here, I guess you get two choices to figure out which one is dupe. And dupe, I did a couple of videos on dupe and how to get past him if you want to check those out. You can actually hear him inside the room. Sometimes he's louder than other times, but if you walk right up, get close to the door on the side of the door, just listen, you can hear dupe inside there. That's one way to figure out which door he's hiding behind. Another way is you approach the door from the side. You come up on the side of the door. If it doesn't open, then dupe's in there. If it does open like this, see I'm going up sideways, it didn't open, that means dupe is inside that one. Now I want to go check this closet over here before I open up that other door. If you open up too many doors, you can't get back to the room with the plant. And I just happened to find a treasure chest that's locked, and I got a lockpick I can open it with, and there's my skeleton key. So that worked out good, plus I got a couple of vitamins. So I'm going to go back now and get my plant, so it'll regenerate my health. Took a vitamin so I can get there quicker. I just happened to make it just in time. If I went one more door, opened one more door, I wouldn't have been able to get back here. So anyway, that's it for this video. I appreciate you guys checking it out. Hopefully, if you want to try those back rooms, that the tips I give you here will help you get through there, get to the end. Just remember, keep your hand off the mouse and learn the rooms. Learn where all the lockers are, which rooms have lockers, which ones don't, where the lockers are located. And you'll be fine. I think you'll be able to, anybody can get through this if you just practice these techniques. Just tap your mouse. Don't keep your hand on your mouse. And catch me in the next video. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Bye.